Hi, everyone. I'm going to start a new series of videos called Real Life Poultry Farm Stories. It doesn't have to be only about a poultry farm. It can be about any livestock farm. If you are working with swine farm, dairy farm, beef farm, whatever, please feel free to share your story. So what's the idea? Actually, if you have seen any challenges in a real life in a farm, then we are going to invite you to share it with us in this YouTube channel. I mean, not with us, with everybody, because everybody is going to read the comments and we can have a discussion group and we can learn from each other at the end of the day. So, for example, if you have seen a reduction in performance, if you have seen mortality, any challenges in a poultry farm or any livestock farm, how did you tackle that problem? How did you identify the problem? How did you find the reason? How did you ask the questions from the producer to find the problem and solve it? I'm not sure if you have seen some books named vets stories. In those books, veterinarians usually share their experience about a case, about a disease. For example, they came across a disease case. It was a little bit weird how they recognize the problem, how they treat the disease, and what was the result. So usually they share their experiences in those books. So in this series of videos, I'm going to really invite you to create a animal nutritionist stories, poultry farm stories, swine farm stories, cow farms stories. And with that, at the end of the day, we can learn from each other and it will pay down the road for everybody, for the owner of this YouTube channel, and also for which is me, and also for you as our audience. So in this video, I'm gonna explain it, how it works. So our new series about real life poultry farm stories, actually, what are the objectives? As I told you, we are going to understand challenges in a real situation. We are going to learn how to tackle the challenges by asking the right questions in a right manner. Because just asking questions is not going to help us to recognize the problem. We need to understand how to ask the questions, right questions in the right place from the right person in a right manner. How to think through a system. Here we are talking about biological systems, strategically, systematically, and efficiently. In a plain language, how we are going to organize our ideas, our questions, and ask them neatly. It's our goal. And how to find solutions or potential approaches. So, asking right questions. Actually, we grow in the direction of what we repeatedly ask questions about and focus our attention on. I really love this statement because asking questions is going to lead us to solve a problem, to improve a situation. That's why we are asking questions. If you come across a challenge in a poultry farm, in a livestock farm, our questions should be around 5 important topics. Flaws is acronym for that, for those 5 topics. F stands for feed. So some of our questions should be around the feed. What did you add to your diet recently? Did you purchase any new ingredients? How did you manage feed bin? How did you mix it? How did you mix different ingredients? Do you have the nutrient analysis of those ingredients? See, these are some questions we can ask. Second, L. L stands for light, but not only light, it can stand for leader as well. We can ask questions about light intensity, about leader, about leader quality. A stands for air. We need to understand the ventilation and air quality. Actually, not only asking questions, when you are, in a farm, in a barn, you need to test these 5 topics in person. W stands for water. I would say one of the most important factors involved in, animal performance. I'm gonna talk more and more about water. And S can stand for sanitation, security, here I mean biosecurity, and space. For example, how is stocking density in your barn? It can affect, your bird's performance. So whenever we are going to ask questions, we should remember flaws, and we should organize our questions or our tests around these 5 topics. The other thing I want to bring up here is using your own equipment to measure temperature, light intensity, water pressure, ventilation, whatever, to get correct measurements. Personally, as a nutritionist, I have seen this in real life. For example, I was measuring static pressure in a barn, and for example, on my device, it was, let's say, 0.10 inches of water. But when I read the static pressure from their manometer, in farm manometer, I saw it's different. It shows a different value. So sometimes, equipments need calibration, and maybe those equipments that you are seeing in a farm, they are not calibrated recently. That's why we need to test the equipments as well. I mean, maybe we are not a computer engineer or mechanic engineer, instrumental engineer. We can't really test the, instrument, but at least we can measure some factors with our devices and compare the results with those equipments. So the last slide, the art of asking question in a farm. We saw we are going to ask questions or organize our questions around 5 important topics, right? It was flaws, but how should we ask the question? We have 2 kinds of people, judger and learner. Try to be a learner. The focus of judges is on problems, but the focus of learners is on possibilities. For example, a judger can ask, what's your problem? What's your biggest problem in your farm? And the producer can reply, well, nothing. See, it's a endpoint question. It means that you cannot continue this conversation. Other way to ask this question is, what possibilities exist that we have not yet considered? Here, it's an open question. We can continue it. It's not dead-end question. A judger can ask, why do you still have these problems? What's the answer? I don't know. But the other way is to, see what's the smallest change that could make the biggest impact. How can we start with low-hanging fruits and really improve the situation? What are those little changes that we can make in a real life and see the biggest impact? What solutions or approaches would have us win? Us, I'm talking about the producer and you as a poultry service guy, because it is a win-win situation, right? So in my next video, I'm going to talk about a real life situation where, our colleagues or myself saw a problem, in the past in a farm. It was either mortality, reduced performance, or whatever, and how they find, the problem, reason, and how they solve the problem. And again, I am inviting you to leave your comments with your experiences down there in the comments area, and we are going to learn more from each other. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you soon in the next episode. Take care.